And this is an interesting point. So do you just want to talk about what we've had a problem with in our business in terms of paying bonuses in April?
Yeah. So if you pay bonuses in April, for example, or you get a one-off larger lump sum payment, then,
In April,
and
whereas
especially if it's
April's
in
the month that's a
April,
problem, right?
because of the fact that it's the first month of the year and there's nothing else to offset against, effectively HMRC will assume that is the amount that you're going to be receiving for the remainder of the year. And
Every
therefore,
month.
every month. So say, for example, you're a 20% taxpayer, and if you're receiving a lump sum payment, that could well end up pushing that bonus into the 40% tax bracket, or even if you're really lucky, possibly even into the 45% tax bracket. What will then happen, again, this is on the assumption you're on a cumulative code rather than a month one code. What would then happen is in future months, they'd take into consideration the fact that you've already had this lump sum payment, and they'd almost do a look back.
Yeah.
So they'd say, so maybe you're a 20% tax bracket payer in month 2. In month 1, you paid some in the 40% tax bracket, but you've got X amount of unused 20% tax bracket less. So on the face of it, it should reconcile if you're being employed for the whole of the tax year. I mean, we're talking primarily about people coming into the UK and being UK tax resident, but when you have people who are leaving the UK and breaking residence midway through the year and they're being on a payroll until maybe 6 months of the year, this is where people end up overpaying taxes because they have only received 6 months.
Yeah, so it's
12
important. It's
half of it.
important to specify that personal allowances aren't proportioned. So you get a personal allowance of 12,570, even if you only do 1 day's work in the UK.
Assuming you're UK tax resident.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what I mean is that point around the payroll
Yes.
is you do 6 months and you've actually paid as if you were going to get 12 months. So you'll have overpaid tax.
Yes.
But when you tot it up at the end, let's say you earn, I don't know, 120,000 quid, because that makes the maths easier for my small brain. You earn 120,000 quid in a year. That's your annual salary. You leave after 6 months.
Yeah.
You'll have been taxed at 40% and then some at 45%, and you'll have lost some of your personal allowance.
Yeah.
But because you actually only got paid £60,000, you're actually entitled to your whole personal allowance again, and you'd have only paid tax at 40%.
Yeah.
So then that is something that you have to make sure you reconcile. And I guess it's worth pointing out that if you leave your job when you leave the UK, HMRC should be able to reconcile that. It's worth filling out a P85 form to tell them that you've gone, so that they will reconcile it.
Definitely.
And send in your P45.
Unless there's any other reason for you to file a return. You don't actually have to file a return
Yes.
to get that reconciliation.